Hello, psychos! Wait for it.
Hi, Maggie.
Hi, Corbin.
Hello.
Oh, hey, Tim.
Hey, Steve.
Hi, Tim.
Hi, Moogs.
Gus, I guess it would be our last night, Gus, because Gus was the man at that point. Until things went sideways, he was living his life, you know.
Well, why didn't you give me your phone and I'll put my digits in it?
All 7 of them.
I was the one when he was balling in ShotCon.
You see, exactly. Ball. 2 of his player butt was blowing up.
So if you don't mind, I'm gonna keep it 100 and take this call.
I read that there was a scene where Juliet gets strapped to a chair on the top of a clock tower. And I remember reading it, I'm like, that's gonna be so cool. They're gonna have to find a really good stunt double who's gonna like be down with that, because that's really scary. James, I see you laughing. He was like, don't worry, like there's gonna be a mat right there. And I looked down, it's like 2 stories.
I remember bringing you vodka throughout that entire episode.
Oh, man. It's so good, and it looked so good. And because it was you, we didn't have to use a bunch of weird wides where you couldn't tell.
It could not have been shot any other way, like for it to have that sort of impact. And it was so magical. But like, holy shit, reading that.
I gotta say, I've always thought, for all the fun that we've had in the Yin Yang episodes, Juliet was sort of the solid, consistent, quiet MVP of that mini franchise. If you think about it, she had the killer speech in the first one.
I think you deserve more than popcorn tonight.
Then she has the clock tower in part 2, and then she has the bitch fight with Mina where she cocks the shotgun with one hand in part 3.
That's one of my favorite moments of the whole series.
Don't you even breathe.
Strangely enough, my favorite Juliet sequence is a very Juliet episode. You have the whole thing where she gets ready to wait for the train to come, and she sits there and you just watch her. This is what made you into who you are when we meet you in the show. So I love that whole sequence so much, and it was so fun to have that giant train station.
I got really dressed up in that one, I remember.
We put you in like some 1940s getup for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, but I loved it so much. I remember that. I thought that was so fun to shoot.
Does anybody feel like it's so hard to vote for the best Tim episode because Here's Lassie exists?
Here's Lassie is so good.
That's my vote. It's hard, but it's not that hard because he blew the roof off the joint in that episode.
There is no limit to how far you and Spencer will go to mess with me, is there?
The hardest I've ever laughed off camera was watching Dulé embody Shelley Duvall on the other side of that closet while Tim cut through it with the sword. It was spectacularly funny.
It was a lot of screaming.
You know what else Dulé was really good in? I can't remember if you were good in the whole episode, but you were really good in this one particular scene in High Top Fade Out.
On all new, very special, emotional episode.
For a second, like the show changed, and it was like 3 guys dealing with some real stuff.
Well, so you want to go there? Oh, we can go there. You sure you want to do this? We can go there. You want to bring up the past after all these years?
He told him that they broke your heart. I was like, damn, dude.
Got your minds mixed up in all kinds of nonsense, and it broke my heart.
Did my voice go high like that? It broke my heart.
And you broke my heart. And I was like, dang, I guess we should just go home. I mean, I don't know what we're supposed to shoot after that.
That's an episode wrap for Dulé Hill.
That was a good one, man.
I got such great fun stuff to do, but I think character-wise, for Lassiter, the big really turning point was Tuesday the 17th, and that scene at the restaurant with Victoria.
In an episode where everything is very heightened, to have our most grounded moment, and the moment we learn sort of Lassiter's heartbreak and what's made him, it was perfect for that character.
This human being as opposed to this, the uptight prick he could be.
You were wonderful.
It was the very first day of the very first thing that I was ever behind the camera.
Oh, I remember.
It made me look very good, Timothy.
You did a wonderful job on that one, Mr. Roday.
I remember Lassiter and Juliet. There was a building exploding. Do you remember this?
Yes.
And the doorknob.
Wrong. Yeah.
The warehouse exploded.
Yeah.
And the stunt guy said, okay, so this door's going to fly off, but it'll be fine. We're kind of getting in position of like, wait, why are the camera guys over there?
Car's over there.
It was wild. I remember feeling the heat from it. Luckily, everybody was all right. But that was
shards of door raining down over us. The doorknob flew off this door and banged into the side of the fire truck behind us. We're like, that was right there. And it went this way.
I've never heard this story, and I'm very disturbed.
I have to say, though, for a couple for me is Odyssey, directed by Kirsten Nelson.
That episode is on the difficulty scale at least a 9.8 or a 10.
Our goodbye scene in Psych Odyssey. So intense. That was a hell of a day. It was brilliant direction on your part to have us be a pinball machine just in that office space.
Right. Because I was like, you have that energy still. You're shutting things down until you say we're leaving.
We wanted to keep going towards each other. Should we ping pong balling around the room?
Your ping pong balls, especially Tim, were sitting quite nicely throughout.
I knew it. I knew you were going to make a bowl reference.
My heart, it's just gone. The heart is gone.
Being right back on set, James making a ball joke.
That's right.
You want weird, polarizing express.
Yeah. We took some swings on that one.
Every page, every turn of the page, I was like, James.
I get it. Well, in that case, you want a hot tub with Paula Patton?
Yes. No.
I remember one executive calling Steve and I about one dream sequence.
Let's just say, Corbin, you were involved with it.
Yeah, we turned you into like a weird, disgusting troll man, and you were drinking from a giant carton of milk.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And we really extenuated and shined a light.
A belly button?
Yeah. It was very hernia forward.
I think the most terrified I've ever been in my life is the opening sequence of the musical. It was, we had one day to shoot it. We were able to block off that entire pier area, and we hadn't really done any lip syncing yet. The day before we started shooting, they said, we're this much under budget. We can get you the budget, but we have to take away one of your shooting days. So it turned out to be like a 9 and change day, and we had to shoot 7 different places there, and we had to shoot the big finale. My heart was visibly thumping through my hoodie and giant Vancouver jacket all day long. And the last shot that we did was Corbin, who I apologize to this day for. I always thought it would be hilarious if you didn't sing in the musical.
Not gonna happen. That was my line. You know what the big disappointments for me? We did all these episodes, how many there were. We finally did a baseball one, and I had 2 lines in it.
You got off easy.
I saw that script come in, and I went, finally, yes.
Those of us that had many more than 2 lines, you didn't want to be us.
Sometimes they come out better than we imagined, and sometimes, they can't all be gems.
I have seen that episode recently for some reason, and Dule is working pretty hard.
Being a classically trained tap dancer that's being forced to dance the Macarena in front of a bunch of liquored-up townies while wearing a flea-infested SeaWorld suit.
It's some pretty good Dule stuff in the mascot suit.
I'm sure it is.
Dule has another moment, which is at the very end of the vampire episode. Tim has managed to ward off the bad guy, and he's standing there, and he tells us,
I've slowly, methodically been building up a tolerance to chloroform over the last 15 years.
And Dule goes, that's ridiculous.
It must have been some other kind of chemical.
Takes one tiny snap of the rag and face plants. Very, very expertly done.
The other great moment is in Romeo and Juliet, where you guys follow the kung fu guy into the room, and then you open the door, and we had this foot on the hand that just goes whack and whack. And James, you go down immediately, and then it hits Dule, and Dule freezes in time, and his eyes roll back into his head, and he falls out. Oh, he's so good. It's so good.
Dule will remember this very well, because it didn't happen very often, but I could not get through a take when we were going back and forth about Spotted Dick in the
Oh, I remember that.
Is it the bubble and squeak is neither bubbly nor squeaky? All I need is Spotted Dick.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't get it, and that never happens to me. But man, that got a hold of my funny bone, and it did not let go. Then at first it was like a novelty, right? Everybody, and then I think by take 9, Dule was like, all right.
And if you look at what made it into the cut of the show, It literally is. You can see it's one frame more, and you just completely have lost it.
But it was not my fault. It was Dulay's delivery. It wasn't even my line. It was the way you were saying it.
We laugh, we make jokes, we have all these fun moments. To me, it's why we're all here. Why we're still here. Gonna make 4 more movies.
Amen.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Goodbye, family.
Bye, guys.
Bye, fam.